Welcome to another episode of St Vincent Untold Stories. On this episode, we look at former police officer Erickson Harris. It is alleged that Officer Harris had just given a young lady $3,000 in King's tongue to take out her passports, to take her children on a vacation. But after he called her back in the night, he heard heavy grunting on the phone. Ooh, ay, ooh. The man could not believe it, so he just gave the lady $3,000. And another man was in the house talking. Later on, the next the house was set ablaze. Yes, man, somebody set a house on fire with the same lady that Harris gave the $3,000 and another individual. Big ups to all of my subscribers. And if you are new to the channel, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and hit the bell icon if you wish to see more videos like this one. Back in 2005, there were louder screams coming from a neighborhood at a villa. Yes, man. People were on the scene saying that two individuals were in the house while it was on fire. The police was called in and the fire department. So the police started to conduct their investigations. It was not until 2007 that the case broke open. Some officers were chilling at the station when Harris came up to them and said, "Officer, you know the girl that did get born in the fire? And when the two people passed away, I did just give that girl some money, to take out some passports and things. I did love that girl." One the officer said, for real? You love that girl? Seriously? So why did she pass away? So it is alleged that Harris said, "You want to know why she passed away? She took my $3,000. Then she had the audacity to be speaking with a man on the phone. Yes, man, could you believe that? Just give she $3,000 in the day. And in the night, me call her phone. She the panting with man. You know what me do? Me send a bad man over there go talk to her. And she put up her resistance. Me understand the bad man go put her the fire. But, say she should have jump out. But she not jump out. So the bad man just deal with everything one time. It is alleged that the officer Harris, I can't believe you do that. Harris, I go on. So Harris say, "Yes, man. I have to deal with the situation." Boy, the officers could not believe what they heard. One went home and he contemplated. The other said, "Yes, we have a breakthrough. In the morning, we'll get to Harris." Boy, when Harris came in there the next day and he went there to the station, the officer said, "No, sir, you have to go to King's Tongue. And don't walk with your uniform. You're going to do some different chores." Later that the man then pick up Harris and put Harris in the investigation room. So the man them say, "Harris, tell us what you told us back at the station. And don't make I have to hit you, no boy." So Harris said one of the officers raised his hand in a manner to hit him, and he said, "Oh, I will confess. I will confess. You don't have to place your hands on me." He said that he did not want any lashes. So he had to come up with a story, not to get any. So Harris confessed it once again. So the man them decided to say, "Yes, we break the case and now call in the justice of peace and let him give the statement." The man them said, "Boy, if you don't talk in front of the JP, you'll have it again." You see, not as the officers put Harris in this situation. It was Harris himself. If he did not talk that thing at the station, he might have been a free man at that time. So the JP came in and he let them take the statement. Harris started to sing like a canary. You know what they said about Tekashi 6 and 9 when he sold out immediately. So Harris was charged and remanded into custody. So the officers started to pile up their case, get some witness, some testimonies together and so forth. Harris then recruited one of the best lawyers in the business. So the lawyer started to look at the weaker points, and has said that Harris never gave such a statement. That Harris has said that they cooked up the statement against him. Then he went on to further say that he gave the statement. You see, at the time, the prosecution had 8 witnesses, including the girl's sister. She gave a testimony and said that the day before that they was in King's Town doing some shopping, and Harris was paying all the bills, playing big shot. Yes, man. He bought the dress, he bought suits for others, and he had some big money on him, boasting and saying that he was going to buy a jeep. It is alleged that when they went into the restaurant to have lunch, Harris said, "Take what you want. I don't worry about a thing. I've got money. Lunch is on me." So the sister said that after everybody went home peacefully, there wasn't any argument or anything. It was not until later the next day that when she was having a meal with her boyfriend, that someone came to her and said that her house was on fire. And when she rushed over to the house, she saw that her sister was inside. But you see, the police really wanted to seal the deal with enough substantial evidence. So you know what they did? They called up the bank, but in order to get the paperwork, they had to get something like a warrant. All this time, Harris was still denying that he knew nothing about it, that the statements were false. So they were saying, well, who gave them? How did we know about you, Harris? You were the one who talked. Harris was saying talk. The odds were against me. So I came up with that story. But you know, the prosecution was like, who would come up with a story like that to put themselves in trouble and lose? That's not right. You gave the statement. You see, this case was so high profile because it was the first time that an officer in St. Vincent was being charged for sending others to Dovecat. Nobody ever heard anything like that in their whole lifetime. So they were asking if it was a case of man can't take a boat. You see, when we were young, it had men that used to use machetes on women, and when they were finished, they would run to drink pesticides after other person saying that they were coward. But in this case, Harris did not run to drink any pesticide. It had a man back in the day. You know, he met a man and his woman, and he used the machete. Swai. He went in after the woman. Swai after the man. But the man take off. You know what him run to do? Him run to drink a pesticide. But he did not swallow enough. So in the pan they go and him kick off. And like him had a blackout. Boy, the man them come and find him. You are able to stick. Claddai. Pesticide plus Bluetooth stick, you know. Pain inside and pain outside. Claddai. You see, Harris's lawyer started to call for a trial. But you see, the thing is, the evidence was stacked up against Harris. Boy, the man ended up and confessed and said that he did it. But he confessed it to a lesser charge. So because he gave the confession, they decided to take off 1/3 of his sentence. So Harris was hit with a 10-year sentence. But you see, Harris had already spent a lot of time on remand. So they decided to free him. Remember, they took off 1/3 of the sentence, which means that 8 months was served for every year. Viewers and subscribers. Harris maintained his innocence during the first part of the case, and then he pled guilty, right? Do you believe that Harris was responsible for sending those 2 individuals to Dovecat? Persons are now asking the question, did Harris turn his life around? Some are saying yes. We do believe that it is possible because of untold stories. We strongly believe in rehabilitation, and we see right now within the prison systems that they are doing some higher learning. Yes, man, they are teaching other men how to read and write properly. And they wanted them to get an education so they can come back into the society and be better citizens. Because remember, arguments that they might have held before, they won't hold those arguments anymore. They'd be looking to get jobs and to get themselves back on their feet. Then told stories who want to say condolences to the families who lost their loved ones during the house fire.